Quit marijuana now. No withdrawal. No cravings. About the author, who is Peter Hill. About the author. Peter Hill is a human resources specialist and an expert in helping people change their habits. He runs an informational website that provides tips, audio and stories to help people quit marijuana naturally and easily, without cravings or discomfort. To take advantage of this cool stuff and more, make sure to check out Peter's site at http://www.quitmarijuana.com/chapter1, What to expect when you quit marijuana. Changing any habit that we do daily is a challenge for most people, and to quit marijuana is no different. When you decide to quit smoking pot, there are a number of things you may want to consider ahead of time, so that you're not thrown off guard when they come up. From having realistic expectations of quitting, understanding the temporary withdrawal symptoms, the most common times that relapses occur, and how many attempts most successful ex-weed smokers endure before reaching success. This article will discuss these 4 main events that occur and give suggestions that can help improve the rate of success dramatically. The first step is making your plan. When people decide that it's time to quit smoking cannabis, it is important to remember that quitting isn't easy. It's important that when you make a plan that you have realistic expectation of quitting marijuana. It may not be easy, but it's not impossible either. Just this year alone, over 1 million Americans quit smoking weed, and now you will be one of them. Make your plan as realistic as possible and understand what symptoms you will encounter. There are a number of withdrawal symptoms that every quitter of pot must face. But what is more important to understand is that withdrawal symptoms are temporary and will fade away with time. In fact, typically they will only last 1 or 2 weeks before they disappear. After 1 or 2 months you develop momentum, and reach the point where you decide to never smoke another marijuana joint again. Knowing how long to expect withdrawal symptoms is one thing, but knowing about common relapse times is critical too. Most relapses occur shortly after the decision is made to quit cannabis. The first week after quitting marijuana is the time where most relapses occur. This is when withdrawal symptoms begin to build up and become the strongest, and the body is still very dependent on the weed. For most people, this will be the hardest time of all, and it is at this point that you must use all your personal resources, your friends, family, willpower and the tips in this article to get you through this most critical period successfully. Along with this, relapses can also occur later on in the process. It is important to realize that for many people, the second most frequent time for a relapse is in the first 3 months after quitting pot. Typically, it can happen when situational triggers such as a stressful event occurs. It is in situations like this when people reach for the weed automatically, simply because they have developed a strong association to smoking marijuana and relaxing. This type of situation is very common for the simple reason that it is quite difficult to prepare oneself until it happens, so it becomes increasingly important to recognize it if it is to happen to you. The critical element is to remember that smoking cannabis is simply a habit, and all habits can be broken, even if it takes many attempts. In fact, the statistics show that most successful ex-pot smokers did not necessarily quit the first time. It appears that most of this successes happen later on, after several failed attempts. You may find yourself to be one of those people who can quit marijuana on your very first try, and I hope you do. But the message is clear: if you're not one of those people, make sure to decide now, to never give up, and try as many times as necessary until you reach your goal. Once you consider in advance the major pitfalls on the path to quitting cannabis, you will have the foresight to avoid these troubles, and your success will be practically guaranteed. Knowing and preparing for these contingencies and following through until you have quit will put you into ranks of those successful men and women who have overcome the dependence and quit marijuana. You will have realistic expectations, you will know how long to expect the withdrawal to last, avoid the most common relapse times, and never give up until you are free. This way you know exactly what to expect as you begin the journey today to quit pot for good. Can find the strength to quit on your own? Get committed, get motivated and stop smoking marijuana forever. Chapter 2, Quit marijuana with the ultimate success formula. There are many ways to go about changing the way you live your life and making the adjustment to quit marijuana. One method of personal transformation that has been exceptionally well received by the personal development community is a simple system known as the ultimate success formula. From making a clear decision about exactly what you want, taking massive action towards your chosen goal of quitting marijuana, noticing if you have been effective or not, and changing your approach as needed to eventually and predictably obtain what you want. This article will introduce the ultimate success formula within the context of quitting pot for good. How do you want things to be once you have successfully quit marijuana? One of the most critical moments for someone who wishes to quit cannabis is deciding exactly what they want for themselves. Being clear about your goal, and having a specific outcome is so important. Do you want to quit marijuana completely or have the self-control to only smoke with friends? Do you want to be able to feel comfortable with people smoking weed around you, or do you want to remove it from your life completely? When you make your decision, write it down in a clear, simple statement of purpose. Clearly, the first step is knowing what you want. The next step is making things the way you want them. Take action and do everything in your power. There are a series of steps you will begin to take as you follow your plan to quit pot, and they are always specific to each person. The best way to get started is by making a list of all the things you will do, and beginning at once, whether you are entirely ready or not, to carry out the actions you have written down. For many people it starts with throwing out all the marijuana paraphernalia, throwing out lighters, ashtrays, and getting rid of your stash. Another thing that might be included on the list would be calling up your friends you smoke pot with and telling them that you are making the decision to quit. Many people also find it helpful to commit to a number of people they are close with and agree to pay them a $20 bill if you turn back on your plan. Since you don't want to be paying someone just so they can tell you you're an idiot, there is a high probability that you will follow through in the end. But even after taking massive action towards the goal of quitting pot, many people worry about not being successful. Notice what isn't working. Oftentimes people plan to quit marijuana only to find that there are obstacles in the way. As you go about your daily routine, it isn't uncommon to find that certain people or things will trigger the desire to smoke pot. The best way to be ultimately successful is to notice how you are responding to things once you have quit and take inventory of what is working and what isn't. Oftentimes people find that throwing away all of their cannabis-related items helps them quit at home, but find that when out with friends they still crave a joint. You may find that you want to write down what is working and what is not working. This way you can proceed to change your approach. Change your approach. Part of effectively using the ultimate success formula is being able to notice what isn't working and changing your approach in order to respond to the feedback you are getting. For example, if you find that you are spending time with people you ordinarily wouldn't spend time with just to get high again, then you can be sure that changing who you spend time with is a decision you need to make. For other people it may be that they stay off weed for some time only to smoke when they are drunk at a party. Whatever the situation that brings about a relapse, be sure that you just need to change your approach and move on. It may even seem completely obvious, but it is a necessary step in order to be successful. Since 80% of quitting marijuana is simply a psychological challenge, use your intelligent brain to overcome your old habits. Become crystal clear about what you want and how you want to be when you quit pot. Take massive action towards your goal. Notice what isn't working and change your approach until you are free. Once you have successfully used the formula to quit weed, you can use it for anything else. Use it with my blessing. The sky is the limit. Can find the strength to quit on your own? Get committed, get motivated, and stop smoking marijuana forever. Chapter 3: The Secrets of Quitting Marijuana. Even if everyone around you is still smoking, many people reach a point in life where it's time to quit smoking cannabis. One of the most common challenges for people today is quitting pot while they still have friends or family who continue to smoke around them. From breaking the cycle, to acknowledging that only you can do this, talking with the people in your life, laying down ground rules, and spending time with your friends and not smoking. This article will discuss the basics of quitting marijuana naturally and easily while still being around all your friends who still smoke. The best way to be successful at quitting weed is to break the habits of taking breaks to smoke with friends. The challenge with this is that people experience a withdrawal from their friends and marijuana buddies. So if you are going to quit, you will have to take time to remove yourself from the places where cannabis is smoked. Just remember that just because you have made the decision to quit pot doesn't mean that you have to stop seeing your friends for good. It just means that you will have to do some things that will change the relationship dynamics. The first step will be in realizing that nobody cares about whether you quit marijuana now or not except for you. You will be alone in your journey to quit, and the solitude may be tough at first but will easier with practice. The reason alcoholics and weed smokers stick together is so that nobody quits. Become a leader for yourself and others and take control of your life. Otherwise you will be a follower and it will be your friends who shape your destiny. The way to take control is to talk to the cannabis smokers in your life and discuss your decision. You want to make your friends commit to helping you. You want them to know that quitting marijuana is very important to you and that you want them to promise that they help you quit. You should also mention to them that you do not expect them to quit just because of you, but that you do expect them to put the pressure on you to stick with your plan. Quitting will always be a personal decision, and no one can do it for you. This is first most important step. Next you need to lay down some ground rules with all the people in your life regarding this issue. Make it very clear and simple that you are counting on them to cooperate and help you quit. Tell them where they can smoke when they want to, but be sure to have something that you can have to distract your own attention. Even something as simple as making a phone call, or playing a video game instead of smoking will work wonders. The reason you will need something to distract yourself is that most friendships will naturally involve being together and smoke marijuana together. Get used to going out to the bars, or to parties and not smoking cannabis. Each time you go out and hang out with your friends without smoking, you will reinforce that behavior until it is automatic. This way you will naturally quit without any stress, strain or confusion. It is definitely a great thing when you have quit smoking marijuana for good, and still have all your old friends be supportive of you. If you can just remember to continually break your old pattern of smoking, take responsibility and become a leader. Tell people about your decision to quit and lay down your ground rules, accustom yourself to going out with and spending time with your friends. This way you can quit pot even while everyone else still smokes, and keep your friends that you care about while setting a great example of self-control. Can find the strength to quit on your own? Get committed, get motivated and stop smoking marijuana forever. Chapter 4. Quit marijuana using the 6-step method for change. In this day and age there are many technologies available to changing behaviors and feelings in people. When you decide to quit smoking marijuana, you can use the 6-step method to change your habit patterns permanently. Learn how to make a decision to quit pot, set yourself up for success, interrupt new present habit patterns, give yourself new alternative behaviors, condition your mind for success and experience life as an ex-cannabis smoker. This article will give you the basics of quitting weed in 6 easy steps that anyone can learn and use to achieve their goal. Step 1. Plan how you want things to be. Once you have quit, when you decide to quit smoking marijuana, you are committing to changing a habitual behavior. When you do this, you have to make absolutely clear in your mind, what exactly is the change that you want to make. You must decide what do you really want, and then figure out what exactly is preventing you from quitting pot right now. Up until now, what has prevented you from quitting? Write it down so that it is crystal clear in your mind. This will force you to think about how things will be once you have quit for good and consider what you must do in order to change. Step 2. Motivate yourself to quit marijuana. The first thing you need to quit cannabis permanently is to get to the point where you must change no matter what. To get to this place you need to consider some of the negative aspects of smoking marijuana as well as considering some of the benefits you will enjoy once you have quit. For this step you need to write down exactly what the side effects have been in your life. Write down exactly what you have been missing out on as a result of your pot habit. Then write down what type of pain it will cause you in the future if you do not take action and quit weed. Finally, write down at least 3 reasons why changing your habits and quitting pot for good will also change your life for the better. Make it clear what benefits you will enjoy in every area of your life. This way you are motivated to break the cycle. Step 3. Break the cycle. The habit of smoking cannabis forms a strong cycle that reinforces itself every time you use the substance. To break this cycle, it is critical that you do something out of the ordinary, such as exercise, taking a bath, or talking with a friend that has already quit marijuana. Even things that are weird, unexpected or outrageous can help. Watching comedy movies can change your mood, as well as engaging in a favorite hobby. The more things you have to do as a replacement of your own behaviors, the more effective your journey to quit pot will. Make a list of 5 to 10 things you can do instead of weed and pick the top 3 and use them regularly. Breaking the cycle and creating an empowering alternative is crucial and cannot be stressed enough. Step 4. Replace your old habit with new behavior. Eventually, when you become successful and quit marijuana for good, you will need to do something else with all the time you free up. What are some of the things you will engage in instead of weed to change your emotional state? Typically, you want to do something that you can do anywhere, anytime. Some people find deep breathing exercises help, others find stretching or listening to music to be beneficial. You will need to make a list of these alternatives, write them down and use them. Once you have done this, all you need to do is to reinforce the new habit you have formed. Step 5. Reinforce and practice the new positive behavior. To quit pot for good, you need to condition your mind to avoid anything that would trigger a relapse. To avoid falling back into the same old routine, it is very important to practice and condition your new alternative behaviors to the point where it is absolutely natural and automatic. Every time you reinforce the new pattern, you strengthen and condition your mind to be under your control. Eventually it becomes so regular that your new behavior becomes the dominant behavior in your life and you are free from weed permanently. You will find that you are able to carry on with life as if you never had an addiction at all. Step 6. Test yourself and enjoy your new capability. When you have completed this process and you want to be sure that your changes will stick, go out and test your new self. You could imagine yourself in the future where you are in that situation again when you would have normally smoked in the past, but see yourself free from cannabis dependence at last. Perhaps you might go visit some of your old friends that you used to spend time with before you quit marijuana and experience your newfound ability to overcome addiction. This way you can experience the positive consequences of your decision to quit cannabis. After working with dozens of clients in helping them to quit smoking pot and change their lives, it is clear that each step must be considered carefully and acted upon. Read this article as many times as you need, and when you're ready, follow the 6 steps and quit marijuana for good. Remember to decide exactly what you want, motivate yourself to quit, break the old cycle, replace your old habit with new behavior, reinforce it, and enjoy your new life. Use the 6 steps as many times as you need with my blessing and live life under your terms and under your control. Can find the strength to quit on your own? Get committed, get motivated and stop smoking marijuana forever. Chapter 5. A simple exercise to help quit marijuana now. In the past decade there have been a number of psychologists who have contributed to the growing body of information about quitting pot. Many of these experts have come to a conclusion that quitting cannabis is roughly 10% physical dependence and more importantly 90% psychological habit. When people start to consider quitting weed, they are forced to consider the health reasons, financial reasons, and family reasons for changing. This article will discuss the 3 main issues involved and bring attention to some of the principles that you can learn and use immediately. The best way to benefit from learning psychology to help yourself, is to realize that it is all about self-analysis and self-discovery. As you consider the costs of not quitting marijuana, you can make a list on a blank piece of paper and write down each thing that bothers you. Write down enough things so that you're motivated and ready to take action. Then on the other side of the page, Write down all the things you will be able to enjoy as a result of your decision to change your old habits. The first thing you might consider is your physical health. For some people, the health reasons alone are enough to make the decision to quit pot. Some people find that before they quit cannabis they are often short of breath, or unable to naturally breathe as deeply or as rhythmically as they could before. Other people worry about various types of cancer that can eventually result from smoking weed, or other tobacco. It's not uncommon to hear about problems with nasty wet coughs, runny noses and mucus buildup that come as a result of smoking weed on a regular basis. Yet for some people the health reasons are not quite as motivating as when they consider the financial costs of not quitting cannabis. Well, some people start to calculate how much money they spend and how if they were to just quit marijuana they would have hundreds and sometimes thousands of more dollars available to them. There was a client I had once who came to the realization that if he were to save up all the money that he usually would have spent on weed, he could take a vacation to South America in just a few months and every winter thereafter. Even though the health reasons and financial reasons to quit pot are many, there is yet another group of people who only respond to the family reasons. Relationships. Oftentimes it has been found that people who smoke cannabis too much have families that worry about them. Sometimes it's the girlfriends or boyfriend who really help in moving things forward along in the process. When they consider their children, they find that alone is enough reason to quit marijuana since they want to be a good example and make their kids proud. Psychologists know that patients need to reflect on what they are doing, and how much better things will become once they make the change and quit pot. By doing something as simple as writing a list of painful things and pleasurable opportunities, they can change their minds and retrain their brains to think that smoking is a silly thing that they no longer need in their lives. They look at themselves and decide to have better health, decide to seal their financial leaks, and patch things up with their families to become successful and self-reliant people. Can find the strength to quit on your own? Get committed, get motivated and stop smoking marijuana forever. Chapter 6, Quitting Marijuana with Autosuggestion and Affirmation. If you are serious about quitting marijuana, then you should seriously consider using the power of autosuggestion to change your thought patterns. With self-suggestion you will be able to program your subconscious mind with the new thoughts, feelings and behaviors that you want for yourself as you become a non-smoker. From the steps of successful affirmation, suggestions for quitting pot, and reinforcing your new self. This article will introduce you to using affirmations to help yourself quit cannabis. Step 1. Plan. In order to be successful at using affirmations you need a clear step-by-step game plan. You need to set a time aside where you can speak your affirmations out loud every single day for at least 1 month. It is best to write your affirmations down first and then as you memorize them you can recite them in your own words. If you can say your affirmations out loud every day for more than 21 days, you will find this to be incredibly powerful. Step 2. Act. Say out loud so you can hear your own voice the following: I know that I have the ability to quit marijuana now. Therefore I demand of myself persistence and continuous action toward the goal of quitting marijuana today. I am making a promise to myself that I can and will quit. We now know that through the principle of affirmation and suggestion that the repeated act of desire towards your goal will eventually become physical reality. Therefore it is suggested that you spend up to 30 minutes each and every single day, and spend that time on thinking of the weed-free person you intend to become. As you affirm your objective of quitting pot, make a clear mental picture of this person you are becoming. As you practice this you will find it works in a predictable way. As you continually and repeatedly hold in your mind the image of your new self, you will find that you slowly and automatically transform your reality in positive ways. Therefore it is important to spend 10 minutes of each day, demanding of yourself the willpower and self-confidence to quit marijuana. Step 3. Commit. In order to commit yourself even more to this process, be sure to get it down on paper. Write down a description of your goal to quit marijuana and promise to never stop trying, until you have developed the willpower to quit. It will be something you can go back to, especially at those times when you feel like giving up. Step 4. Reward yourself with reinforcement. Lastly, you will want to remind yourself daily about some of the basics of affirmation. Just remember that affirmations will continue to work for you as long as you only use them in ways that benefit yourself and everyone around you. You will eventually attract to yourself the events, places, and things you will need to use, as well as the cooperation of other people. Remember to develop within yourself a love for all people, and especially love for yourself. You will find that people are more than willing to help you, because you are the type of person who is helpful towards others. Have your personal statement of affirmation on you at all times, and sign your name to it. Be sure to commit it to memory and repeat it out loud every day. Use your faith and your emotions, and you will find that you gradually influence your own actions, quit smoking marijuana, and become a successful and independent person. Remember the steps for affirmation, give yourself the best suggestions for quitting pot, and make it a habit. You will find that you naturally create a plan for quitting and follow that plan by using affirmation and auto-suggestion. Can find the strength to quit on your own? Get committed, get motivated and stop smoking marijuana forever. Bonus, how you can use hypnosis to quit marijuana. For many years now, hypnosis has been shrouded in mystery. The reality of the situation is that it is just a very powerful way of using your imagination and your daydreams to assist you in making changes. Today it is being used to help people quit smoking cannabis and to take back control. From what hypnosis is, to how it deals with the subconscious mind, to who is in control during the session. This article will be an introduction to using hypnosis and self-hypnosis to quit marijuana. For many people, when they think about the subject of hypnosis, they think about the popular stage acts that cross the country. These performers use hypnosis as a framework around a show that uses the audience to perform various feats, jokes and acts. Other people think of the movies where a hypnotist is able to completely control another person with his influence and power, even in unethical ways. In the context of therapy, self-improvement, and using hypnosis to quit smoking pot, this is all completely different. The basics of hypnosis. Hypnosis is nothing more than a very powerful and effective way of using the imagination to accomplish certain things. The definition of hypnosis is generally accepted as the bypassing of the critical factor of the mind, so that communication can happen with the other deeper subconscious mind. To help a person quit weed, hypnosis is used to bypass the part of their mind that might think, reason, evaluate or judge the powerful suggestions they receive during the session. This way, the suggestions are accepted and acted upon not by the conscious mind, but the unconscious mind. The deep subconscious mind, the unconscious part of your mind, is the part that deals with your breathing. It keeps your heart beating and all your senses awake and aware, even when your conscious mind is off somewhere doing something else. When you drive a car, it is the unconscious parts of the mind that takes care of all the things going on around you. This way you can still carry on a conversation while driving down the road at 100 kilometers an hour. When a hypnotist tells a client to sleep, instantly the conscious mind is suspended long enough that they can listen to the suggestions and install the new beliefs that force them to quit smoking cannabis. When it is done properly, the effect is almost instant. However, there are many people who have a fear about losing control while in trance. Fears and misconceptions. Who in control? The reality of the situation is that a person's main resistance to going into a trance and accepting suggestions to quit marijuana is fear. The more fear a person feels about being hypnotized, the more challenge they will have to endure to change themselves. The fact remains that all hypnosis is really just self-hypnosis. The trick is eliminating the fears and the misconceptions beforehand. In the end, it is only you that can change and heal yourself. You can't change other people, but you can change yourself. If you believe in yourself enough to take the advice and suggestions from someone who knows how to help you, quitting pot will be easier than you ever imagined. When you understand exactly what hypnosis is, how it powerfully affects your subconscious mind, and how ultimately it is only you in control, you can understand one thing: that you and only you can grant a hypnotist permission to help you to make the change. Download your session now and look forward to freedom from having to smoke cannabis. Overcome cannabis dependence. Peter Hill is a human resources specialist and an expert in helping people change their habits. He runs an informational website that provides tips, audio and stories to help people quit marijuana naturally and easily, without cravings or discomfort. To take advantage of this cool stuff and more, make sure to check out Peter's site at http://www.quitmarijuana.com/.